So hi, this is my grandson. Wait a minute, come in.
Hello.
And he wanted to stop by and say hello tonight on this live stream.
Yes, hello, people. And people soon to be watching on YouTube.
Okay. All right. So
Bye.
bye.
See ya. Opening the door. Whee.
So hi. Just wanted to come to you tonight, and we are going to do our weekly meditation that allows us to enter into a space of peace and safety. We are in this space tonight, and I want to talk for just a moment about what's on my heart. And one of the things that's on my heart is that I have the sense, partially through what I observe with my eyes as I'm watching people around me, people on the street, but also just this kind of sense inside me that we're being tempted as human beings to be tired of this, so tired. I mean, we were tired months ago, but to be so tired that we're in a space where we're in danger of becoming lax. And I want to encourage you tonight not to become lax. We're in this as a marathon. We're in this for the long haul. We're in this to get to the other side and still be whole and well and strong and embodied. And that's our intention and our desire for each other, for ourselves, collectively, to be whole and well and strong on the other side of this. And so, just I've mentioned before, but looking back at the 1918 pandemic, there's just some things we can really learn from history and some things we can learn from that time. And some of what was true in 1918 is there wasn't a lot that could be done medically for a novel virus. In fact, then they didn't really know much about that what a virus was or the fact that it was a virus. But they had face masks, and there were mandates to do them in some places and then not mandates in other places. Philadelphia itself, after the pandemic began to break loose here, the leadership of Philadelphia in that time decided not to cancel a Liberty Bond parade that had been scheduled, and like 100,000 people or whatever flooded the street for this parade. And a week later, the hospitals were just overwhelmed, and almost 1 million Americans died. There's some guessing going on because, again, record keeping was spotty then as perhaps now. But almost 1,900,000 some Americans died to our best estimates in that pandemic here in the United States, and 50 to 100 million around the globe, depending on how you calculate it and how conservative you are in your model. But, it ended. There was a time when it had passed. And it took a year and a half, 2 years to make that transition. So that and people who didn't wear masks were much much higher risk, were much more likely to get it. And all they had were cloth face masks. They didn't have N95s for anyone then. There was no such thing. So the doctors and the nurses were wearing cloth face masks and funky little things they tied with, that had straps that they just are stubby pieces of cloth they tied together at the back. I want you to consider just being diligent, continuing to be vigilant, to wear a mask even with family members inside if there's any reason that those family members come in and out. It's one thing if everyone's actually quarantining in a house and the only out that's happening is one person goes out with masks and gloves and is very careful while they grocery shop, and that's all that's going on. And that may have been true for many of us in March and April, but it's not really what's going on now. So even when I spend time with my grandsons, we all wear masks, and if we have to take them off to eat, we get at great distances from each other. And I, really like in the realm of 12 or 15 feet is what we're able to accomplish indoors. And, outdoors, of course, is that kind of footage, and outdoor air is much better. But to be diligent, to be conscientious, to still be making sure that you're washing your hands and cleansing things, but also just it's become more and more apparent in the science that this is aerosolized at some level, that it has something to do with the sharing of breath, and that, in various people doing ultraviolet radiation visualizations of it in laboratories have found that while larger droplets when you cough and sneeze fall to the ground, and those can be the fomites on surfaces, that actually the smaller droplets from breathing can go out 30 feet and can hang in the air for 15-20 minutes. So just to continue to be vigilant. And winter's coming. So in Georgia, they opened their schools already. And I was just reading minutes ago that there was a Georgia school, and I think it was a high school student was suspended for posting online pictures of all the unmasked students, most of them unmasked because it was not mandatory. It was recommended, but not mandatory. And most of the high schoolers were not wearing masks, and they're just as crowded in the hallway changing classes as any high school students are ever crowded in a hallway changing classes. And so they suspended her for posting the pictures online. I think there may have been 2 students who were suspended, but that school already has 6 positive students and 3 positive staff members, and it's been open a week. So we need to be diligent and cautious and continue. So let me encourage you to the science. And as we enter into our visualization, we have gone up in the United States this week by 6,341 deaths. So almost 1,000 deaths a day, not quite, just shy of it. And so the COVID counter went from 158,323 last week to 164,664 this week. So almost 165,000 people have died in the U.S. And this COVID tracker is by a brilliant teenage man, a young man in his teens, late teens, I think now, named Avi Schiffman, and he put up one of the first COVID trackers online, and it's ncov2019.live, and it is the one that I check most often. And then our case count, our diagnosed case count, and it depends on where you live. Currently in Philadelphia, you can get a test. My youngest daughter, who was working at a grocery store and who has left that job to go on to a lovely job that her mama hopes will be virtual, entirely virtual. I know she'd like a little in person, but I'd be really good with really virtual. But she got COVID tested she, after finishing her last days at the grocery store, and she was just able to schedule it and to walk into a Rite Aid and to get tested. And her test results were, I think, about 4 days. But there are other parts of the country where you cannot get a test still unless you are really symptomatic and kind of in bad shape and potentially about to be hospitalized or to be sent home with oxygen and that kind of state. And many of those people are having to wait 14 days for test results. So just, our case count is not gone up because we do great testing. Our case count is lower than our actual cases, and there are still people who have problems getting tests or getting tests that give them an answer in any reasonable length of time. But our case count is over 5 million. In fact, by ncov 2019, it is 5,128,878,000. So right at the door of 5,129,000, which is up 316,866, almost 317,000 since last week, this time when we spoke. In the world, the global case count is up 1.5 million. And of course, recognizing that many places in the globe, people are not able to get tested. Lots of people in lots of developing countries unable to get tested, but still up 1.5 million, so that the world is approaching the door of 20 million diagnosed cases. And the world is at 727,426 deaths. So 727,000 and a half deaths, which is up 27.5 thousand from last week. So stay vigilant, stay diligent. There is a scripture verse that says, not to be weary in well-doing, but to press toward the mark. press toward the mark tonight as we enter meditation. You are pressing toward the mark for you and for yours. Preferably never to get this. Anyone who gets this and is symptomatic, most of the people who've gotten this, yes, we know there's some people who've gotten it and never been symptomatic, but the case counts of younger people are very, very high in the South and in the States that are very red right now as far as the virus goes. And also, there's been that statement being made since last March and February about how it doesn't affect children in the same way, but we sent the kids home. And by and large, the children were home and have been home. Some handful of kids went to summer camp. Many of those summer camps had to shut down because they had transmission. But when we say that kids don't get it as badly, I hope and pray that that is true and remains true, but it wasn't tested. And you don't want to test it with yours. I don't want to test it with mine. I don't want my children who are in younger than me age brackets, obviously, because I'm their mother. So, they're 20 years younger than me, right? So I don't want that generation under mine tested or my grandson's generation tested. And I don't want to be tested by getting sick, right? So we don't want to be anyone's guinea pigs. We want to just do all we can in the natural. And then, having done all to stand, we want to press toward that mark. We want not to weary in well-doing, and we want to use our faith. So we are combining being rational human beings, using our cognitive common sense, our wisdom, and our natural common sense, and we want to bring in our spirit and listen to our intuition, and we want to visualize and see us, all of us collectively still standing when this has passed over us, when it's passed over the world, because it will. And we're going to visualize good leadership. But even if leadership where you are never does a darn thing, it will still pass over at some point. All of the pandemics of human history show us that at some level, somewhere along the way, hope the worst of it should be over. I'm hesitant for a moment because when I think of HIV, that became true through treatments in the United States, but is not necessarily true in places or for people who can't access treatment. But it is true of the bubonic plague and smallpox epidemics. It's true of the 1918 flu pandemic. It should be true of this novel coronavirus, so that at some level, even if it becomes something that is at some level in the population with cold and flu season, where it stops being what it is now, which is a global catastrophe. So we are looking for a day when we can be back to more normal, but in this space in the middle, I'm not going out the door without a face mask. I'm not coming within 6 feet of you without a face mask, and even with the face mask, I'd like to be 6 feet apart, but I will air hug you from a distance and use my faith with yours to see all of us coming through on the other side. So let's enter into spirit now. Take a moment and get comfortable. Park your car somewhere if you're driving. Don't do this while driving. And be in the space. You're going to go inside now and connect with your spirit inside. Your inner visualization capacity, your capacity to create and to see and to say and to create through your faith. For those of you who are not Christian, I am not selling Christianity here. I am interfaith myself, but there is Jesus saying, or the scriptures, the Christian scripture saying that Jesus said that if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, it will be done for you. Let's have faith as a seed. Let's plant that seed. Let's water it together tonight. So just beginning to allow yourself to relax. You're taking this moment to be mindful of your breath, to be aware of the air against your skin, and to be at peace in yourself, in your body, in this time, in this place. And allow yourself, as you visualize, to visualize that you are breathing in peace and safety and protection, and you are exhaling tension and fear. You are breathing in peace, safety, protection, and wisdom, and breathing away anxiety and fear and foolishness, arrogance. You are breathing in peace and faith, and you are breathing out all bad outcomes. Allow yourself. Allow yourself to relax the skin of your forehead and your face and the muscles of your scalp. Let all the tiny muscles in your eyes deeply, completely relax. Let the tension go from the joints of your jaw, and relax the muscles at the back of your neck and the muscles of your shoulders. Allow yourself in this space to relax all the large, smooth muscles of your back. And as you breathe, draw that peace and that faith down into your chest, expanding the lower lobes of your lungs and your diaphragm, and exhaling, allowing your diaphragm to contract in your lungs to really empty, just breathing in and breathing out. Letting your heart rate come to a resting rate as your respirations continue with each breath to deepen and to slow. And draw that peace down deeply into your solar plexus, into your midsection, just connecting in that space, aware that you have deep feelings of inner guidance there. Remembering what we talked about last week, that you have inner knowings, an internal GPS system, neurological cells in the gut, in the intestines, that feeling, that deep gut feeling that you get, and you deeply, completely relax. And allow yourself in this space to let that peace and relaxation flow down your arms and into your hands, and down from your chest into your abdomen and your lower torso, and to sweep down through the muscles of your legs and your feet. You are grounded and at peace, relaxing deeply and completely, letting yourself go down deeper and deeper. And as we begin to count from 10 to 1, you let your meditative state deepen even more. As we begin to paint a picture of your household safe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. With me, see your house, a metaphor of your house, your household. See your house built of solid stone. And it's beautiful stone like we have in Philadelphia, filled with mica that sparkles in the sun. And your stone house is a fortress. And there is a wall and a moat around it. And there are turrets and guards at the gate and guards on the towers. And you and yours are safe inside. See with me that centered in the center of your home is a beautiful burning hearth. And the warmth of that fire is sweet. And there is love and compassion and affection one to the other in that space. And in that space there's you and your loved ones, your immediate family and friends, those you love and need most. You know who they are for you. Maybe your parents, maybe your grandparents, maybe still fortunate enough to have good grandparents in your life. And your children, if you have children, or your grandchildren, or your close dear friends, your spouse or partner, whomever there is. And if you're single, then you and maybe those who have gone on before us, who are in spirit. In my house, even though my mother passed in 1999 and my father in 2009, they still live in me. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I see them in the mirror, hear them in the tenor of my voice. If I break out in song, I hear notes and sounds like theirs. So maybe inside your living room, in your special defended castle, there is around your hearth on the beautiful carpet in front of the beautiful roaring fire that doesn't make you overheated. In that space there's warmth and love and parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, those who have gone on before us, still part of us. And love never dies. And the room is glowing with love and with light and with peace and safety and protection. And it is secure from all invasion and all invaders, even invisible ones, even viruses or bacteria. Just see your home as a sanctuary, a safe place. And whatever you believe in, maybe there's an altar at one end of the room, whatever that looks like for you. Mine would include pictures of my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, people I had the privilege to know, to love, to be loved by. See your home, your hearth, your altar, your sacred space, your sanctuary, and all that you bring into this space. See them all safe and protected. And whatever is going on outside, whatever storm rages outside, you and yours are in this space safe. And the storm has no effect on your solid, stable household, so that the plague does not come nigh your household. And it includes those you love in whatever places they live. See their houses brought in as part of your encampment, encompassed about with protection and deliverance. Your fortress, their fortress, gathered together, sharing the sweetness of life. And there is plenty inside your home. Your pantry is full. See all that you need, food in abundance, supply in abundance. See you and yours being delivered and brought through. There's noise in the land outside, noise in the storm, the roaring winds of the storm, talking about evictions and talking about finances and talking about depression. Just see a means, some sort of way. There is a being that inhabits your home and brings provisions in, so that everything somehow works out for you. Not just the mustard seed, but the story of the mountain. And if you speak to the mountain and command it to move into the sea, and do not doubt in your heart, but believe that what you say will be done for you, it will be done for you. Divine providence, provision, safety, protection, somehow, some way coming through. And take a moment to see, to visualize with me that outside of your sanctuary, outside of your safe place, your castle, where the storm rages outside, see that there are leaders, brave and strong and true, who stand up, who serve the people, who serve the common good, who serve higher source, who serve forward motion, who serve safety and protection, leaders working. See that there are safe and successful elections. See that corruption is removed from positions of power, whatever that is to you. See corruption struck down, and see those who are honest and true. See them rising up and serving. See there being a proper response of science. See there being all the right calls made. See humankind. See America. See your state, your hamlet, your town, your county, and the United States themselves, or whatever nation you live in, your provinces, your regions, wherever you are in the globe. See your leaders rising up, doing the right thing, being wise, setting aside their own political careers or their own personal fortunes or their own foolishness or ignorance. See them taking up and doing what's right according to science to help all those they serve. See not rulers but servants helping the people at every level, profit and non-profit, elected and appointed, every kind of level of leadership there is, leaders of schools and school districts and school boards and teachers' unions and every possible layer and level. See true and honest leadership, making the best call, the right call, to squash the curve again, to bring it back under control, mandatory mask mandates. See there being what needs to be done. See the proper provision to helping people make it through without starvation, without loss of their roofs. Just see everything being done as it should be, decently and in order and simply and in ways that get help in time of need. Help in time to all those around you. See them being helped. Visualize with me the good outcome. We've exhaled the bad outcome. See the good outcome. And creating that vision. See yourself and your loved ones on the other side. The storm has ceased. Its roaring has passed. And you're able to open the windows. And that dove of peace flies in with its olive branch. And you know it's safe to come out. You wait till it's safe. And then you open and the air is fresh and clean and pure, and all is well and set to right again in your world and mine and ours. We are a collective of people. We are dependent. That which happens to you matters to me. That which happens to me matters to you. See that the pandemic has passed over us, and you and yours and me and mine are still strong, still healthy. Any among us who got sick fully recover. See them fully recovered. See us standing, embodied, healthy, resuming lives and calls and purpose. And in the midst of the storm, we learned as we were shut up in our sanctuary with our loved ones and a hearth filled with love, we learned what was important to us. We learned what we wanted to do with the years we have ahead. And we pick up and we accomplish. We engage, we give, we love, we receive back and forth. So I see you and yours still standing. And in the words, some of the words of Psalm 91, you and yours and me and mine, we dwell in the secret place of the Most High, whatever you conceive that to be. We abide under the shadow of the Almighty. The plague does not come nigh our dwelling. And with long, healthy lives, we are satisfied, and we know that salvation. I see you living out your years. I see me living out my years before I joined my mother and father, my grandmothers and grandfathers, and my great-grandparents. That which is ahead, the best is yet to be. You have something to do, and life, your life, you make it full and rich and sweet. So tonight, as you come back into the space, allow yourself both to stand in faith and to do what's rational and wise. See yourself following your own intuitive guidance system, hearing in your heart, led and guided, day by day, step by step, safe in your fortress of faith and wisdom. And just take a moment today and ask, what do you need to know? What do you need to know today? Holding that question just a moment. There was the day I had to go to the dentist, and in my spirit as I prayed, it was fine. And it was. They did really well. They dressed like spacemen, and they really were careful. And I was secure. And then there was the day before that, actually, that I had to get my car inspected because it was running out and I need to drive a little. And in my spirit, I heard, I felt, I had the thought, the impression to get my lawn chair and not be inside. And they were a mess. They were a mess, up and down and touching everything, and people high-fiving each other, and And nobody wore a mask when they brought my car into or out of the bay, no gloves. But I had already perceived by my intuition, take your lawn chair out, sit outside, and be ready to wipe down that steering wheel and dashboard and seat before you get back in. You know, the buttons on the door, the whole thing, gear shift. You know, you have an intuitive guidance system. So again, just let yourself listen. As we're silent for a full 30 seconds, just tune into what do you need to know today. So as you come back grounded in the vision of making it through. And don't get lax just because it's August, just because it's time for summer or vacation or the shore. Don't get lax. Stay safe, stay strong. I'll see you next Sunday at 8. And when you've got family members who come and go into the world in ways that are not fully quarantined, even wear a mask with them. Be well. We are well. We are well, and it passes over us. And we pray for everyone. Till next Sunday at 8.